to Moto MC. Today I will be doing another bike review, this time with this beautiful 2008 Ducati 848. If you're looking for a motorcycle that encapsulates the sheer joy of riding and won't scare the holy bejeebus out of you, this is one for you. An excellent middleweight sports bike in its own right, with it making nearly 140 horsepower on tap to hardly left lacking in terms of performance. So despite the name 848, it is a 849cc with 90-degree V-twin engine. A little bit of history, so this is an older version, but the 2013 models, that is when Ducati changed from the 849s to the 899 Panigale. Much like the older 748 models, the 848 isn't a range-topping Ducati sport bike, and that means its prices are lower than the likes of the 1098. So now looking at price for one of these things. So the 2008, this one costs about $7,000 second hand, although they can go upwards to about $9,000. Though if you want the Evo model, they are upwards of $11,000. Considering the 848 packs 134 horsepower, it is strange that people view them as small sports bikes. It is a lovely motor to road riding, as you don't need to work the gearbox. Just ride it on the throttle and use the wide spread of power. Whereas on the track, the 848 has a gentle power delivery, especially when compared to the Ducati's 1198, which makes it easier to ride and overall much more enjoyable. So there are a few cases of wrecks failing. So the early bikes were recalled for the fitment of a heat shield. As you can see on this bike, we have heat wrap along the exhaust, all the way from the inside, this white part, all going up and onto the exhaust, because it is quite all Ducatis that have the exhaust going underneath the back of the bike, everything just gets super hot and it just helps with that wrap to cool it down a little bit. Then, I guess aside from the occasional electrical issue, which is usually a solenoid, which is very easy to replace, you can pretty much buy with confidence as long as it has a good service history, such as this one. So talking about the fuel economy of the Ducati 848, it varies quite drastically. Some owners reporting high 20 miles per gallon and others low 40s. So basically it just depends on how you ride. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a sport bike, and if you thrash it on the track, it will like chew up the fuel. Expect to fill it up every 120 miles. When the fuel warning light illuminates, and don't worry about economy, just enjoy the ride. It's cheaper to insure than a bigger capacity sport bike, so you are, I guess, saving some cash in the long run. Speaking on the handling, the one word that sums it up, balanced. Due to the fact it hasn't got a hugely powerful V-twin trying to upset its chassis, the 848 feels delightful to ride as it blends performance and agility perfectly. It's one of those bikes that, much like the Suzuki Gixxer R750, is just fun to be on and doesn't intimidate you through excessive power. Height-wise, as you can see, I am a 5'2" girl, and I'm in literal slides and I can still touch the ground with my tippy toes. So I would recommend this bike for anyone above probably 5'1", 5'2", but it definitely is. Well, when you start going, it's just fine, because obviously you're going to be in that position, leaning forward, and you can easily tiptoe. This bike has been lowered by 50 mils. As you can see, the front forks have been lowered, and a suspension. So when you think safety and you think motorbikes, you think ABS, the anti-lock braking system. Unfortunately, for all the models of the Ducati 848, there is no option for ABS. Although you don't get the safety of the ABS on any of the models, you do get braided lines and Brembo radial brakes. Speaking on upgrades, owners tend to sometimes upgrade the master cylinder for more performance and also add higher friction pads, which isn't a bad idea if you are looking at doing a few more track days. Top speed gets to about 250 kilometers per hour, which is the equivalent of 150 59 miles per hour, I believe. Now, regarding torque levels, you get 96 Newton meters at about 8,250 RPM. The fuel system includes fuel injection, we've got the Morelli electronic fuel injection, elliptical throttle bodies, and fuel control. You have the Desmondronic valve control. I'll spell it out here just in case you didn't understand what I just said. The Ducati 848 is a liquid cool system with a 6-speed transmission. Clutch is a wet multi-plate with hydraulic control. Okay, so about the exhaust, this is an aftermarket Termignoni exhaust full system. However, the stock exhaust on these Ducati 848s are lightweight 212 system with catalytic converter and lambda probe. With twin stainless steel mufflers. Next up we have the chassis, suspension, brakes and wheels to talk about. So, frame type we'll start with. We have a tubular steel trellis frame in ALS 450. We've got the fork angle is 24.5 degrees. The front suspension sits at Showa 43mm, which is fully adjustable, upside down fork. And as I mentioned earlier, it has been lowered 50 mils. You can see the fork lowering just up here. The front wheel travel is 127mm, which I believe is the equivalent to 5.0 inches. And then the rear suspension back here, we have a progressive linkage with fully adjustable Showa monoshock, aluminium single-sided swing arm. So as you can see when looking at the brakes discs, they are double discs, front brakes. The diameter is 320mm, the equivalent to 12.6 inches, and the rear brakes are just a single disc. You'll be able to see it on the other side. The dry weight of this thing is 168 kilograms, which is the equivalent to 370.4 pounds, and its power to weight ratio is 0.767 horsepower per kilogram. So, just looking at this seat, if you touch it, it is so squishy, like a gel material, super duper comfortable, kind of like a memory foam feeling. It has the seat height is 830mm, which is the equivalent to 32.7 inches, and obviously if adjusted, it is adjustable. You can have a lower setting as well. As you can see, the fuel tank, fuel capacity sits at about 15.5 litres, which is the equivalent to 4.10 gallons. Overall, the Ducati 848 is a fantastic motorbike for not only street riding but also the racetrack. This 849cc 9-degree V-twin engine will easily get you from A to B or A to Z. It is a fantastic motorcycle, great for long rides, short rides, commutes, track days, the whole lot. A great all-round bike, great height, great build, great quality, great when it's been serviced, and I could literally recommend this bike to anybody obviously off their restricted Australian licenses because it is above the 650cc range, but maybe in the future you'll see me riding one of these. So low. Yeah, wow.
Perfect for you. Touch the ground.
It's low, yeah. that's all for this week's video. Thanks so much for watching Moto MC and tuning in for this beautiful bike review. Hopefully I'll see you guys next Thursday.